I'd like to welcome you to this PechaKucha about listening. Whilst researching for my new training, Having Difficult Conversations, I found lots of information about the importance of really listening to others during conversations and began to consider how this could be useful both at work and in our personal lives. In the conversations that we have, there are different levels of listening. For example, when in a shop, we're listening and responding at a very surface level. But there are other times when it's essential to listen more effectively. This might be when speaking to a parent about concern about their child or to a colleague about their well-being. Conversations, we should make sure that we're really listening to ensure that we fully understand what is being said and to build trust with the other person. Effective or active listening is where you make a conscious effort to hear not only the words that another person is saying, but the complete message being communicated. There are many benefits to listening effectively. It's much more rewarding for the person talking to you. It helps build trust and make stronger relationships and resolve conflict. If we don't really listen, then we can misunderstand or respond in the wrong way. The other person may feel that you do not value them or their opinions. It also helps to broaden our own knowledge. Keeping focused and having a good level of interest in the topic can help us to take more information and knowledge on. It can help you to diffuse potential problems when we really try to understand the full message and not what's just being said. We're in a better position to fully understand the other person's point of view. John Stoker identified 7 types of ineffective listener, and you might recognise some of these traits in yourself. The assumptive listener makes assumptions about other person's meaning or intention, and the evaluative listener who spends all their time evaluating what you are saying and making judgments. Protective listener. They are so wrapped up in their own situation or emotions that they have no brain space to hear or think about anything else. They're not really listening. They often make it about themselves and simply repeat their own negative experiences. Judgmental listener who will constantly criticise what the speaker is saying. They often have preconceived ideas about the speaker, biased or prejudiced based on how they look or their background. They are like the evaluative listener, but more negative and give less time to respond. Affirmative listener will only hear messages which they agree. At first, talking to them is quite pleasant as they tend to agree with you. However, after a while you realise they're only agreeing with some points and possibly not very important ones, but refuse to engage with anything else. Another type of listener is the authoritative listener, who only listens in order to give advice. They always know best and are always ready to tell others what to do, when to do it, and how. They regularly use the words you should or you need to. Perhaps the most difficult listener is the defensive listener, who takes everything that's said to them as a personal attack, so they feel they must defend themselves against everything and to justify everything they say. They often use the phrase, yes, but. Did you recognise some of these traits in yourself? Even being aware of them and trying to reduce them will help you to become a better listener. So let's go through some tools to help knock down some common barriers to being that effective listener. First of all, body language. Face the speaker and have eye contact and avoid crossed arms or legs, which can make you look defensive. So you're listening by nodding, smiling and making small noises. Don't look at your watch and try not to fidget. Pay attention to what they're saying and their body language too. Don't interrupt. It gives the impression that you think what you have to say is more important. If you're a quick thinker or talker, slow down so the other person has time to think and express themselves. And remember that a pause or silence doesn't mean that you have to jump in. Listen without judging or jumping to conclusions. This helps the other person to feel safe to share. Don't try to impose your opinions or solutions. Most people prefer to come to their own solutions. And when you do give an opinion, make sure that you're respectful, open and honest. Stay focused on the conversation. Try to shut out external distractions. And if this is not possible, then suggest another time to continue. Give feedback. If someone's sharing happy news, validate their excitement. If they're sharing something challenging, acknowledge their struggle. Ask open-ended questions, as these show you've been listening and help to clarify what's been said. Also, paraphrasing and summarising what the person has said can show you've been paying attention and allows the person to correct you if you're wrong. Author Oscar Trimboli identified 5 levels of listening. Listening to yourself, being aware of your own internal dialogue. Listening to content, focusing on the actual words spoken without jumping to conclusions. And listening to context, including the environment and circumstances. Also, listening to the unsaid, often the most important part of a conversation. And this includes reading between the lines and noticing body language and emotions. Then listening for meaning, which involves understanding the significance and implications of what's being communicated. Finish on some top tips. Use your body language to show you're listening. Avoid getting distracted by your own thoughts or planning what you want to say. Focus on the speaker and give them your full attention. Let them finish and then respond. Paraphrase to check that you understand what is being said. And remember, listening is a skill that needs practice. Thank you for listening, and I hope this PechaKucha has given you some things to consider and use and practice in your own journey as an effective listener in your professional or personal life. If you would be interested in the new Having Difficult Conversations training, then please visit our website for the full details and dates.